Hey everybody, it is that time of night again. I am DJ Sleep and I will be with you throughout the night tonight. We start every night at 11 p.m. and go to the infamous hour of 6 a.m. when we switch over to the normal people that run the world. So I'm going to be sticking with all you guys in the trucks and the cars out there that are doing your regular runs and trips and cruises. Remember, everybody drive safe. And for the rest of you guys that are pulling in that midnight oil, as always, I will be with you playing the best stuff to try to at least keep you awake a little bit before you lull off to sleep and somebody has to wake you up. So let's check out some of this great music tonight, and we'll talk to you in a sec. Hey everybody, we're going to be interrupting this program right now for some information that's coming in. There has been some reports of attacks. This is something that we heard the other day about people who were coming down with something that was causing them to almost look rabid. And most of it looked like it came from the homeless shelters and areas, and some were calling it a drug interaction or some sort of drug problem that was coming into the area. And we're getting reports now that this is something that's come to our area as well, and we're going to be getting some information that's coming in right now. So we're going to turn off the music for a little bit and stick with you on this story right now as things start to come in. So that's going to take some time here to pull it all together with you. But the first announcement that we heard recently came from state police that said that there is a travel alert and an alert in general that came in both at the same time that said watch out for people who are unable to respond. And I'm reading this directly from what they sent to me, that are unable to respond, that do not listen to commands, that may look sickly, ill, or may look like they have suffered some sort of damage or injury. And that's a very interesting little report that we got in there. Something that people who look like they have previous injuries. So I am putting some little feelers out here right now, and I'm having some of our guys kind of go out and check out the information for this to see what's up with it, to see if this is actually I'm almost wanting to ask if it's credible, or if there's something that the information that we're not aware of that's coming in. It's very interesting to have reports like this to say that stuff is going on, but we're being told now that by the scanners that there are people or multiple reports of police officers reporting to various areas, both in the city and the countryside, for what they're describing as random attacks by people that are described as being homeless or potentially vagrant. And at first, I think a lot of people didn't really, because this began a couple, like, I would say about an hour ago, I first started hearing reports of this, but it didn't really come to a head until about a couple of minutes ago, where we started hearing stuff that was a little bit more consistent, I'm going to say. So, looking at the data here, the first couple of reports came in, like I said, that were attacks. They were responded to by officers, and they were not taken very seriously. This turned into multiple reports of attacks in various areas throughout the city and, like I said, in the countryside. And things began to become a little bit more active, I'm going to say. So we've got to keep an eye on this. Again, this has been a big points bulletin here that came in. And the reason I'm staying on the air right now instead of going to some music is because I think it's important to be able to talk to you guys and walk you through what we're seeing in the information that we're going in. I don't want to leave people, going through their nightly routine. Unfortunately, there's obviously being an 11 o'clock show. This is something where a lot of people have already gone to sleep. But for those of you who are staying up, it is not going to just be our station. A lot of other stations I'm hearing now are actually starting to pick this story up to get it out. So what we're hoping is that through a kind of a group effort here, that we're able to get this information to you. Again, multiple attacks happening both in the city and in the countryside. We've been told to look out for various things. Reports tend to lean towards what we'd consider homeless people, individuals that potentially are drug users, which is another report that we heard. But the main report that we received from Sheriff's Department and State Police was that we should look out for people who do not respond to commands, or unable to communicate in some way, or look as if they are injured, severely injured. I'm going to guess that means ripped clothes, possible lacerations, cuts, that kind of thing. Probably somebody that would look like they were in a fight is how I'd explain it. So there's a lot of stuff coming in right now, and it continues to we're continuing to get more and more stuff that's flowing in, but it's mostly reports on actual new attacks. Now, if you've probably counted it from the time that we broke into the broadcast right now, that's been at least, I'd say 5 or 6 attacks at least that have happened since we've come on the air, and that's not including the ones that happened prior to night, or the ones that happened, I would say, around 10 p.m. So this is something that's really going to be a concern to people. This is not effectively the first time we've heard of something like this. There were some things that happened on the East Coast earlier yesterday that did bring up some attention, but seemed very localized. It did not seem like something that we would ever need to worry about. But the concern right now that we're hearing is there's a possibility that whatever this is, whether it be some sort of illness or interaction or something, anything, just something in the air, that there is a possibility that it may have spread to our area and maybe have spread to multiple other areas as well. I don't think that we're the only ones that are receiving these. And again, these are just reports. I would not take things too seriously, but again, it's one of those situations where if we're going to get this information and it's happening as much as it is, and things are continuing to evolve right now, it's something that I think that we need to be made aware of. So this is something where I would look at people and say, if you do run into somebody like that, not to engage those people, to seek professional help, call some sort of first responders or somebody like that can either get help for you or the people that are being reported, obviously police and others. So I hope everybody's got their pot. I just literally poured a coffee here, which is the timing could not have been more perfect for when we're kind of in this, I'm going to say, for somewhat of a long haul as we try to figure out what this is. Normally, like I said, you guys would be playing something tonight, but it's something we agreed on that would be a lot more interesting figuring out what this is than to go back and have people miss out on the information that we have right now. So yeah, so there's been still some more reports coming in, and we're getting more and more responses from us. So this has been 10 minutes here, hasn't it? It hasn't been that long that we're receiving another report that people should, in the entirety of the city, to shelter in place. So that is, if you for some reason are at work right now, that the thing you need to do is to stay at your work or other place of position until more information is made available. We're expecting a bulletin in a second here. There's going to be so the emergency broadcast system will be implemented. We're hearing right now. So I don't know if we're going to keep broadcasting right now. At some point here, it is going to just jump in and interrupt us, and we won't know until a little bit after it starts.
This is an emergency broadcast. There is currently a shelter-in-place warning throughout your area. Seek shelter immediately. Do not go outside for any reason. If you are traveling, find shelter immediately. This warning will continue until further notice. If you need assistance, contact emergency services. I repeat, this is an emergency broadcast. Seek shelter immediately.
Okay, that was it. That was the warning. So we're hearing right now that state police and officials from Board of Health are telling people at this time to shelter in place until further notice regarding some sort of illness or drug interaction that has spread possibly through the homeless or otherwise population, possibly drug use involved, things they're not probably going to say on air, but we're kind of putting two and two together here, that have spread to these areas and are turning people, making them sick and obviously doing something to their mind. We can't confirm or not confirm anything at this time, but that these people are getting sick, they are hurting themselves or in some way causing injury, and then they're attacking other people. And that is just, I don't even know where to begin with this. And that it's not one or two people, that it could be in some places large groups of individuals who are making attacks. What I'm hearing, I'm going to have somebody check something right now. I mean, how much one of the problems that we have with these incidents is there's a potential fog of war kind of situation that goes on, that we start to begin to hear reports, and the reports get mixed together and give us kind of a false narrative right now. And I believe that may be part of the equation that we're dealing with right now. So we want to check with the producers right now and make sure that everything is going up. So I'm going to have them, somebody needs to run to somebody and make a phone call, or even get somebody that we can have on the air here that can confirm what we're dealing with and what the level of this situation is. And I'm hoping that we're going to have some sort of report. Is that it, guys? So Do we have anybody out there that actually lives in this area that can actually give us some kind of confirmation of what they're seeing out there? And if you can do that, that would be great. Yeah, I don't care who it is, anybody that can come on and tell us or give us some sort of input on what we're dealing with here. Again, multiple attacks, both in the city and the countryside, of individuals who do not respond to commands, and they are attacking other people and show signs of injuries. Again, some of this isn't confirmed, but one of the things that we did hear was that it was potentially something from a homeless area, or otherwise maybe possibly a drug interaction so maybe a drug den or something of that nature. Again, I can't confirm any of that at this time. It's the information that we've received for what we have. How's that? So yeah, we have Ron Perkins on the phone here, and Ron is going to tell us what he sees in his area. Okay, let's go over to him now.
Hello everybody, this is Ron, and I am sitting at the municipal building right now, between 4th and 5th Street, and what I am looking out onto the street here is a mass response of police officers. Possibly the entire troop of officers have responded to this area, and some of them originally began trying to cordon off streets and have become unsuccessful as they begin to start what we originally thought was some sort of perimeter. And we were able to see individuals that were, and I'm going to use the word skulking, into the area, at which point they were given commands by police officers that they did not listen to, and those individuals were attacked police, and they were gunned down in the streets, is what we're going to say here. I don't know how much of this that we can give out to the public at this time, but what we saw was absolutely terrifying. And what we're hearing right now is this is not an isolated incident. From what we've been in contact with the individuals asking what happened, we couldn't get a full informational detail from the police officers here, other than to forward over to emergency management at this time. But that the situation here does look very serious. So we're gonna go back to you at the desk.
All right, that's where we're sitting right now. That does not sound like something that is something that we have to take this seriously. We really need to take this very seriously at this time. Again, we're having some of the guys have put up a scanner in the office, and we're waiting to listen to the broadcast, and it's at this point very, very busy. Now, whether that is associated with this one report, or if there's more reports involved in this, or how many reports there are, right now it's going to be impossible for us to tell with any kind of accuracy. And again, other than what we've been told, we don't know the full details of it. We don't know if this is some sort of illness, if it's something somebody breathed in, if it's something that people ate, is it catchy? We don't have any of that information at this time. All we know is we've been told by everybody, and we recommend this to everybody, again, as we were told, to shelter in place until further notice. And if you see anybody who does not respond to commands, to take action. And that's where I'm the concern of it is not to take any action, but to call, first responders or something like that. And yeah, that's about all the information we have right now. And from what we're hearing now too, the emergency services hotlines are being flooded at this time. and it's become more and more active. Is there something that we can visually, I know that may not work for us for the radio, it's not something we can broadcast to people, but at least be able to find out some kind of wording or some kind of visual to know what's going on, or some way, some sort of camera that's covering the city? Does that make sense? Yeah, I would think that we would want some sort of visual, and it's going to be tough to, obviously being nighttime and everything, it's going to be a little bit difficult to see things, but maybe we'll see the flashing lights, maybe we'll see something. Because again, the scanners, from what I'm being told, the scanners have been very, very busy and continue to stay busy. We did get that message that said that there was some sort of shootout encountering these individuals, and that the area was being cordoned off, but that things did not go to plan. We don't know the level of that not to plan part. We just know that there are people out there that are not doing well, and we're a little bit worried about everybody. So if you, we were being asked earlier what should people do if they're driving, and I think the best thing right now is, if you're driving or otherwise, get to a safe location, hotels, motels, whatever you can do. And again, shelter in place. I don't think driving around right now is all that advisable, because we don't know what the true situation is. There could be emergency police vehicles, and it sounds very busy out there right now. So that's something you don't want to get involved with. You don't want to basically wake up and go, you've encountered some sort of vehicle of some nature and gotten yourself in a situation. So that's one thing that we're getting. Okay, so we just get some other information here. Okay, so it's saying right now that they're asking us to broadcast the following: that emergency teams understand the situation to its fullest and are currently engaging the situation, to only call emergency services if you are actually involved with an emergency. Sightings should be refrained from, that they are aware of most of these situations and are taking the necessary steps otherwise. So unless you're engaged in actually being, basically fighting for your life kind of thing, that you are not to call emergency services, to keep these lines as open as possible so they can deal with actual situations. So if you're in a life or death fight right now, you feel free to call. But if you're not, I guess a lot of people are calling the emergency line and asking questions like what's going on, and they're asking to refrain from that. So unless you're actually in a situation, the emergency service number is not available for, it's not an information line, which is kind of what we are as news situations like this. News oriented things are covering these. That's our job, is to keep in touch with you and get you all the information that you need while things are happening, so that you can do what you need to do. So this is, again, if you're seeing emergency situations or emergency alarms going off, don't be alarmed by it. We're going to probably get a couple of those during the night, just to let you know. So, but unless you're being attacked, you gotta like I said, we were talking about this a couple seconds ago too, is you're driving around, get out of the situation right now, get to a hotel, get to some place where you can just sit down for a little bit, and I guess the word is take a nap until stuff gets resolved. So I have my coffee. This is my thing. The worst part, we were going over different things here that we need to get you guys information for. The first thing is, which we see there, is a lot of people, I think, are starting to panic. And the first mistake you can make in any of these emergency situations is to panic. what you should do right now is I want everybody to take a deep breath. If you are having any sort of anxiety, paranoia, any kind of thing where you're trying to fill in the blanks right now, we're not trying to make you fearful for any reason. I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to understand these are situations that are right now, as we're being told, are well in hand. They're getting ahead of this right now. Everything is going to be okay. You might be hearing sirens. You might be hearing emergency vehicles. The biggest reason that a shelter-in-place warning would happen, obviously we may be talking about multiple or otherwise individuals, so it's something you don't want to be caught in the middle of. And that's the point, is to get out of the way so that the police and other first responders or otherwise people can engage these threats and make sure that they are. This is something that I was explaining to somebody the other day about. So let's say you get involved in a shootout, for instance, and the officers come up, and one of the things we even heard on the report earlier was that the police were cordoning off the area. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to start to quarantine or pocket this place into their position so that they can make sure that people are being taken care of. So the first thing that they want to do is make sure the zone that they're involved in is sanitized. Is that the word? I would say that anybody who, just so that you can do the reports you need to do. And situations like this can be active. There can be people that we don't know if these people have knives. They don't know if they have guns. They don't know what they're now. Obviously, we haven't heard any reports of shootings or anything like that. Most of the stuff that we've heard is more people in a more rabid state now, whether they're hitting people with baseball bats or clubs or any of that kind of thing. We don't know the situation to it, but the idea of being able to contain something like this, especially if it's something that, and some of these homeless shelters are big. They're huge areas that, street blocks that people have to be aware of, and you can't just go from one thing. They're going to be going from tent to tent, and they're going to be figuring out everything, making sure that there's no threat to the public, that kind of thing. Now, could you go out in that and be safe? Probably. But the point of, especially any kind of, I'm going to use the word lockdown, if you will, is to advise people that there is a situation that they don't want to be contained in, and they don't have the necessary tools. And the other thing is that if somebody was hurt or injured, that these investigations are going to begin. Now, if there were multiple situations at the same time, they're going to want to continue to do those reports. They want to get ahead of that. They want to make sure that everybody's being taken care of and that each area is being resolved accordingly. They don't want you in it so that you get, you become part of the problem, is the best way I know how to say it. So that's the thing that I think that what's being asked right now of us is not something that's unusual or out there. It is literally just, there's some guys out there doing their job, and just let them do their job and not be part of the situation that's going on. So I think that's where we're at. So we continue to see the reports that are coming in seem to be fairly consistent, saying the same thing over again. And I hate to be a echo system here, but I think I need to, because some of you we're being told that a lot of people are tuning into radio right now to figure out exactly what's going on. So I'm going to do this again for you. Right now, there's an emergency situation where we're being told to shelter in place at this time, to avoid individuals who do not respond to commands or conversation of any kind, and that if you see people who are injured, hurt, otherwise, if you have any question about somebody there, they should be avoided. And again, if you have the ability to stay inside right now, just stay inside. And I'm going to say don't open doors. if you don't have to, if your doors are whatever, you don't need to open your door. Don't open your door. You know everybody there. You're not expecting anybody. You know, look outside. Don't just open your door and take a look. Again, we don't know how many of these individuals are out there. We've heard multiple. We've had one report from a reporter who was on scene that was taking a look at the situation, and there was a police coordination that was going on there. Now, again, the original assessment was that these individuals were potentially homeless, that they were, there may have been some sort of drug reaction or something that may have caused some form of hysteria. And, you know, has that ever happened in the past? I'm going to look that up. We might as well just take a little trip right now. Have caused hysteria. Okay. No, I'm gonna spill my coffee. Okay. And I need that coffee right now because I am not used to talking for long periods of time. And thank you guys, everybody, for sticking with us. So here's moral panics throughout history. There was a Chinese migration in the early 20th century concerning opium use. Fears about immigrants and influence, some acts that doesn't really see. The crack scare of the 1980s, I don't remember that. It was a period saw a widespread panic surrounding cocaine fueled by sensational media and leading to harsh policies. These are kind of just big ones overall. Mass psychogenic illness. Listen to this one. Also known as mass hysteria, MPI involves the rapid spread of illness systems among a group of people, often without a clear or, well, listen to that, physical or environmental cause. While drug use has been I'm doing great. Suspected in some cases of MPI, the definitive link has not always been established. So there was one in 1976. 15 students experienced physical symptoms, but no drugs were found. It was ultimately attributed to mass hysteria. Wow. So Malaysia affected schoolgirls and factory workers, with locals attributing it to spirits possessing through drug use could have been a factor of co-occurring phenomena not fully understood or documented. Wow. I'm telling you, man, 2 seconds of research pulled up some crazy stuff, right? Like, so possible mass hysteria? That's very interesting to think about that. So we're thinking that somebody could have had some mass hysterical incident. And again, all this is presumptive. We're just spitting stuff into the wind here, if you will. But to say that there's possible a mass hysteria outbreak that could have happened in the past that resulted in people having these systems, some of them reporting being possessed. Okay, so that's eye-opening. There's something you never knew in the past, right? So, but I do need to point out that a lot of these there were drug connotations in a lot of that, especially opium. You know, while we're doing that, why don't we just look that up? So opium symptoms, or, you know, opium effects. How's that? Charlie, get me that over there. Yeah. Okay. So short term for opium is and not to say this is opium, folks. We're just doing a little research here, doing our due diligence here. Euphoria and pain relief. That's a good one. Relaxation, drowsiness. Okay, I got that, and I don't need a drug to get it. Slowed breathing. Okay, still got that. That's not really, so I don't feel that I'm affected by any of that. I've never taken any, so I wouldn't know. So long term is addiction, dependency, organ damage, brain damage, cardiovascular. Overdoses can be fatal and require immediate medical attention. Nothing here about anybody going crazy, though. Overdose, crucial aware of those potential dangers. Seek someone. Okay, so just regular addiction stuff. So yeah, interesting that could have been mixed with something else or something. Maybe that's it. Maybe maybe there's two things. It seemed to me like something would kind of be a downer, if you will. Oh, okay. So what one of the producers said right now is very interesting, that what we're being reported is that individuals who are attacking other individuals were slow moving and lethargic. Is that the word we're looking for? So like slow moving, lethargic, lumbering. That's the one. I like that word, lumber. Yeah, because basically they were just, I'm going to use the word hobbling along. So yeah, these individuals did not have. All right, here comes another.
This is an emergency broadcast. There is currently a shelter-in-place warning throughout your area. Seek shelter immediately. Do not go outside for any reason. If you are traveling, find shelter immediately. This warning will continue until further notice. If you need assistance, contact emergency services. I repeat, this is an emergency broadcast. Seek shelter immediately.
All right, we back. Yeah, so you were gonna get used to that, because we're gonna get a bunch of those during the broadcast, I'm sure. What's happening is these emergency broadcasts are made to let you know that there are emergency situations are happening right now. There's nothing wrong with that. We need it. I'm glad it's being put out. Unfortunately, it's being put out at the same time we're doing a broadcast right now. So before we were interrupted here, one of the reports, so we're going to get this again. Did we use lumbering? Okay. Slow moving, lumbering individuals. So these guys weren't, I guess the word is sprinting at people, attacking them. So it's not something where you walk out, these guys kind of rush them. It was more of a hobbling, or we'll just stick to the word lumbering. Anyway, so individuals who were affected by this or potentially affected, again, I don't want to make any claims that we have not heard yet, but they were basically hobbling or lumbering towards, slow moving towards people. And once they were getting in reach, they were grabbing. What was the method of attack? Do we have any of that? So it was just, no, we don't know about anything of that. Okay. So no potential weapons, rocks, bats, knives, anything that you want to bring to the forefront right there. That's exactly what you need to be worried about. And so can we, one of the things that was given in this warning, and it just came to my mind here, which I find very interesting. So in the original report, we were told that individuals, and I'm making sure that if I get any messages, I have it. So we got this report originally that said we should look out, and I thought that was very interesting, but I really didn't take much sauce in it, was that originally we were told that individuals that we should look out for look like they had some sort of injury or damage. So if they were hurt, or, now if the lumbering part, I don't know if that slow moving or something had to do with injury of some kind, so that I don't want to read too much into this, but if these guys are coming at people with knives, baseball bats, any sort of implement of injury, if you will, attacking them, so we haven't heard anything about guns at all, but if they're using anything like a bludgeoning device or a knife or something like that, the question is are they injuring people, and somehow those people are maybe getting infected by this? Does that make any sense to you? Like, in other words, if it's some sort of, it's stupid, if it's aerial and people are breathing it in, or if it's getting in their blood or something and they're getting cut and now they're getting infected, and how quick does this thing act? One thing that we were seeing yesterday, because a lot of these reports, we did hear about the report yesterday of basically there was a morgue of some sort that a bunch of individuals had, I guess, been hiding in overnight, and when police arrived at the scene, one of the police officers, and they, yeah, pull that up. Let's get the details on that right now so we can get that out there. So, okay, so here we go. This is, it looks like 10 or so individuals were hiding in this morgue, and they came out, they attacked a police officer, and the other police officers came to the rescue and were not able to find them, and there was a big debacle over it. And from what we're seeing here, the officer was potentially eaten. Is that how they're wording this? Bitten or eaten, or he was being eaten or had been eaten. There were guys actively eating him. Oh boy, okay. Well, that's not good. Yeah, that seems a little bit. So do we have nothing? They just said that they potentially had some sort of drug use that potentially had. So, okay, so that makes sense. There's a bunch of guys in a room, they all take this drug, and they flip out, and they attack a bunch of people, and one of the problems, and it's not something new either. I mean, I believe we looked this up, there was something in, was it Florida? A while back, a couple years ago, where a guy did that, and he attacked some guy and was eating him, and police shot him a couple of times, and that was a whole big scene or whatever, right? And we have any information about that? Okay, so, and again, we're being hypothetical here. We're not saying that all these events are connected. In some respects, you can see that there's differences in things, or that the other thing was there. We're just kind of making some assessments here. I just feel that if we had somebody selling some sort of drug out there, that if I put 2 and 2 together here, that one group gets it and then the other group gets it, there should be some sort of connective tissue there. Does that make sense? Okay. So yeah. All right. We just I think we need a little bit more doctorly advice here. I think that's what we need. We need somebody that's, of some level. So there were attacks in both areas. So we're hearing about attacks in downtown, and we're hearing about multiple attacks. So one restaurant was attacked by at least 4 individuals. One woman was bitten. Okay. So they said there were attacks. That doesn't sound like weapons though. That just sounds like somebody, like, kind of hands-on fist thing. I mean, if they bit them, that means that they probably weren't using any sort of weapon or attack of any kind. And you're seeing multiple attacks that are associated. Okay, so multiple attacks, a possible association with bites or bite wounds and bite injuries. Okay. So we're now getting some stuff here from social media that's coming in, and we're going to take a look at this. There was a local restaurant that we have here that's very popular. Let's say, yeah, San Juan, which is they call it is it Mexican or just call it Spanish? It's a Spanish restaurant that kind of leans Mexican. They have tacos and stuff. It's a really great restaurant, don't get me wrong. So there was a lot of people that were sitting out into the open area outside at the end of the night. Obviously, some people were inebriated, a little bit of partying going on. So some of these guys left, went to that open area, and then they were attacked. And the injuries that were inflicted were reported as bite wounds. Am I getting that right? Okay. Now, is that connected to the incident that we have over here? Okay, so if it's cordoned off and it's being investigated by police, I'm going to put 2 and 2 together there. So it just keeps coming in, guys. So I'm now getting reports that 911 services are now down. There, you are unable to use the 911 services, that they now fail to function due to the amount of people that have been calling in. So this is something I have to, now they're going to be able to reset that, but we need to tell people, and we need to get this on the air, of saying that let's be aware of this. We have situations going on right now. These emergency services, even if you call up and you call their number, they're going to only have the information that we have on the radio. There's no way you're going to get extra information. Calling a hospital is not going to help you. Calling first responders is not going to help you. We need to kind of sit and do what we normally do in a situation like this. People are being instructed right now to shelter in place until further notice. So that's what we need you to do right now, and we need you to keep that radio on. Sit with us. We're going to be here, and we're pulling every bit of information that we can get associated with this event right now to make sure that you can get the information you need. But constantly calling these 911 services is not going to help anybody. We're just slowing down the thing. And again, we've advised, and we've been told that this is a good advisement, that part of this process, you're on the road, you're doing whatever, get to a hotel, get to a place that you can park, get out of the way of anybody. Do not come out and start looking for things and getting yourself involved and potentially getting yourself injured. Because again, we're talking about people who are probably sick. I'm going to guess that there's some sort of thing out there that they've gotten into that has reduced their mental faculties, or potentially caused aggressive behavior. And some of that aggressive behavior has been people attacking other people. So you're going to go outside to see somebody or see something and think that you're helping out, and your very presence, and we don't know how far reaching this is or where it's at. Don't just stay at home. Don't open the doors. Don't open stuff. I mean, if you got to look out, you got to look out. But like I said, if you don't have anybody that's coming by to visit right now, and somebody knocks on the door, you don't have to open the door. Okay. One thing that I want to get a report on too is can people drink their water more than usual, I should say. But if they can drink their water, if they can, it's just the food. Is there any kind of food things that we need to be concerned about? And we have put in a call to the Board of Health to ask if there's anything that we need to be aware of or that we need to give to our listeners. And we're still waiting on a call back on that. I'm sure that some people are busy right now. So it is way early in the morning right now. We're cresting the midnight hour here. We're getting into it. And following an ongoing situation. Normally we'd be playing, if you tuned in, you turned in regularly. I know a lot of our guys come in at the midnight because they're burning that midnight oil, if you will. And you're probably expecting some sort of music to be playing, and you're not hearing it right now. We're in the middle of a very, and I'm going to call it a serious situation. I don't want people panicked. I don't want people upset. We know there's certain things that have happened in certain areas. We are still trying to pull that information together to find out when, where, what, how. And there's a possibility that because this has happened at the hour that it's happened, that we may not have an answer for that right now. That we're just going to kind of be shooting around here until we get some information and kind of bearing with people here. If you try to call in 911 services or any kind of emergency services right now, the last we were informed that the phone lines were down, and that some people may not even be able to use their phones. So you're picking your phone up right now, and you don't have a dial tone. You know the situation. There's been reports of car crashes, potential injuries, multiple investigations, and from what we're understanding is the police are pretty thin tonight, and that's how this unusual night is unfolding. So I don't want people freaking out or going out and trying to figure out what's going on. We want to be your point of reference for anything that's going on. So I want you to be able to come back here, sit down, and say, this is where we are. So yeah, what do we have that's going on right? So it's just basically busy everywhere, and no word on emergency services lines. Some people have said that some of the not ambulance. I'm sorry. Make sure I say this stuff right. I'm telling you, it's late in the morning for us here. I am not used to normally talking a lot in this. It's a lot of keeping the records together, making sure everything plays right. We don't use records, but the point is that the music that we have is, I'm a little old school, bear with me here, but usually we're putting stuff together, making sure that you guys have a great night of being able to listen to some music that would otherwise, help you out, maybe some lull you to sleep, I don't know, just something, and you're coming up and seeing us talking about this, and it's how it's going to go tonight. It's going to be a situation of awareness, and we're just basically staying on the air right now to make sure that you stay aware. I'm not cutting the brakes right now. We've already agreed that there's no point of having a commercial in the middle of something like this. The point is you being able to tune in and to be able to hear a voice, and I think that's important to people probably more than anything else right now, is to have somebody to say, I can hear a voice on the airwaves that's telling me what's up. And that's what we want to do. We want to be here for you so that you can get the information that you need. So yeah, we're really just kind of, I don't even know how to say, a holding pattern, waiting for something to happen. And I don't want to, I hate that, because that means waiting for stuff to happen is probably the worst thing that I know that I can do. I'd rather just go out and say, hey, we got some stuff here, let's do it. But we're having some report guys. Yeah. Okay, I mean, just wait for it. It's going to come in sooner or later. And these guys are, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are up right now. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are asleep right now waiting to go. They're going to get up, going to work tomorrow. It's going to be a very interesting morning, but obviously there are some people out there that are on or may have tuned in because of the things that they're hearing. So I want to make sure that I get that information to everybody. So yeah, the live show, if you guys have to tune in, we're an 11 to 6 show. It comes on every night. We're the morning routine. Normally we'd be playing music right now, but again, for situations that have come into the area, emergency situations of shelter in place, get yourselves hunkered down for the night. Everything's going to be perfect. You're fine. We may be having some broadcasting issues. I'm telling you, man, if it's all going to fall apart, it's going to fall apart tonight. One of the broadcast towers, I guess, was hit by something, and we've lost a couple of towers or something in the area, so some people may not be receiving the broadcast or may be receiving it sporadically. Crews are being put into the area to maintain. So people are, we're having movement out there. Things are happening, right? Yeah, there's things that people are just doing. Obviously, there's some stores that are shut down. Hopefully, if you were on the road before and you needed gas, you got it beforehand. But again, we would rather tell people to find a place to stay for the night and park it in right now, especially if you're in the area. If I'm guessing some of the guys on the highway that are just passing by, they don't care. And if they don't, that's fine. All right, so it looks like there is I'm going to say a semi-press conference right now. Okay, so let's listen to that. We have the state police doing this broadcast.
I want to thank everyone for coming out
I'm going to hold a quick press conference with everyone as we have active scenes going on at this time. We will not be taking questions. At 10:38 p.m. tonight, we began to receive multiple reports of individuals in what is being described as a hypnotic or trance-like state that attacked random individuals. Officers were dispatched, and in some of these cases, these officers were required to engage these threats. We do not have the full details at this time, and we won't have the full scope or numbers, but we can assure you that we are currently working on it. Investigators are setting up perimeters and beginning their investigations while the whole of the police force, state and local, are continuing to investigate reports, as well as make clear and safe any of these areas. The reason for this conference is what we need from the public right now is to stay in your homes and allow these officers to do their jobs. Refrain from contacting emergency lines. Do not call 911. These lines need to be opened specifically for emergency situations. We are working the situation and we will provide more as it becomes available. Again, there is a shelter-in-place order at this moment, and this is for your safety and to prevent more work for our peace officers as they deal with the situation. We'll return very soon for further updates, and that concludes the press conference. Thank you for your time. All right. That was pretty much what we know already, right? I don't think there's much in there that multiple attacks, avoid people who are not responsive, potentially homeless. That's something that got added that we weren't sure about before. So the way it started off early in the afternoon was multiple attacks, and we were just supposed to avoid people who looked ill or injured was the wording for it. A couple of situations happened that basically, I'm going to say the day before. It's not really been a whole day before, but that a day before happened where they were making assumptions that people who were homeless were the issue. So we wanted to make sure that we let that information out. But as things evolved, it was more of drug interactions and, possibly somebody getting into something that they shouldn't have and possibly causing, that's some of these drugs has been a huge thing. And it's something that we all kind of need to be aware of, and a part of this kind of plagued situation that has been in our way for quite some time. And it's something that we all need to be aware of, if you will. That situation continues to be an ever-evolving situation, and it seems like the more that we try to get ahead of it, the more it changes gears or changes its direction. And most of the times these are interactions where it's kind of an out of sight, out of mind thing. You have people that have different, and I don't want to get into both the political or ideological things that are associated with that. I just want to say there are people out there that do have problems, and they need help, and whether they get that help or not is one thing. And then you'll have one drug that, like in the 80s, was kind of like cocaine or any of that kind of stuff, and then as we went along in time, it changed over to new things, and now we're into some more. Now's world is some more serious drugs that people take that cause some very nasty situations, side effects, possible death, and we're seeing that rise happen over and over again. It's a very serious thing that people need to pay attention to. So the goal is to get ahead of it. Now, could this current situation be a part of that? Yes, I think so. And that's that. So what we're hearing from Board of Health has sent out a thing right now. The water has been tested, that the water is safe, and there's no reports of food illness. That really does So we can drink. You can drink your water. You can eat your food. That's not where it's coming from. Well, at least where we know for right now. But that just again goes back to what I was saying about this drug thing. Is some of this stuff out here is nasty stuff. And now let's say somebody puts something in it creative, and I even say some sort of attack from another country or something like that, that would have something in the water that would be, or in the water. I said, see, I got the water on the brain is what my problem is. Wet brain, it's an alcoholic thing. I guess that's my drug of choice. No. But no, on a serious note, people, you get this stuff, and we just hear about some of these other ones that are very synthetic. Yeah, that's it. Synthetic drugs that people have had in circulation, and that synthetic part, I think, is the part that's really screaming a problem. In other words, I would be very concerned myself. But as addicts go, and I know from having addicts who were relatives of mine, that you're not going to get them to stop getting involved with this stuff. They're going to do what they're going to do, or take the stuff that they're going to take, no matter what you say to them. And there's, yeah, right. So what is this over here? Okay, yeah, this is just an official report from Board of Health that basically says right now that the water supply is clean and free of any sort of microorganisms, that the events that are taking place right now could not be associated, as far as they know, big old asterisk there, as far as they know, are not able to cause the situations that we're seeing right now. So that's, I should kind of bring up the point that Board of Health got up at 11 at night to do this research. Or, what is it? We got 2 minutes here to midnight. That kind of gave me a cold chill. Yeah, so as we're coming in at midnight, they got up at midnight to do that report. And obviously they are probably working on it, so I'm going to guess if they're working on it, that the hospitals are working, or at least some sort of scientist is at least getting up right now and doing some sort of work on it, right? Okay, so big report right now, again, coming back to everybody. So if you're listening in right now, you're supposed to be sheltering in place. If you're out on the road, find a place to shelter. If you're seeing police or other first responders, emergency personnel, do yourself a favor, get out of their way. Don't be in touch with them. Don't get in their way. And for those out there that are in some sort of situation, unfortunately, emergency services phone lines are not currently working. And it's possible in some of the more clustered city areas that the phone lines in general may not be operating. So your radio right now is your lifeline, and we're going to stick with you here. There. So from what we're hearing now, okay, this is a big one. Yeah, that right there. So sheriff details, state police. This is kind of a joint effort going around. Like, a lot of police officers have come back into work tonight to work on the situation. So it's been kind of an all hands on deck thing, that they are currently they're putting the yellow tape around areas, is extraditing areas. I don't even know the word for it right now. I'm telling you, I'm not in it right now. This is kind of affecting me too. So they've zoned off areas where incidents have happened. These areas are being cleared out one by one. They said that there were, and this is the way I'm going to say this, 2 areas right now that have already been cleared out and cleared of any danger. But they're continuing to investigate all the reports that were sent in tonight. Now, how long that's going to take, or how many reports came in, we don't know. We just know that they're going to be going from one place to the next, clearing out certain areas to make sure. And they said so far that 2 areas multiple police injuries already. Some officers were bitten. Did you see? Okay, so one thing that we originally, when we started this broadcast, the assumption was that people were being attacked with, I think, I don't know who said baseball bats. Was it somebody who said baseball bats or knives? It's probably me that said it, wasn't it? That they were attacked with something like baseball bats or knives. At one of the, oh no, that was what it was originally. That they were looking at injuries, that people avoid people who had predominant injuries. That's what we were originally told. Okay, so originally we were told that people with injuries, and we were wondering if any of that was connected together. As we've gone along right now, one of the big things that we're hearing is people who have been bitten, or you thinking that they were eaten. That seems weird, doesn't it? Like people were. Oh, okay. So one of the bodies that was recovered from one of the earlier incidents today that we were not aware of was at a house call, to which the tenant of the house, which was a lady, they didn't release much more information, but that it appeared that she had been devoured by attackers. Okay, that's serious. So I'm gonna petition this out here, and now obviously you guys can't. I have producers in the room right now. There's a couple guys in here doing work, helping me out here. Again, even with this being a night shift thing, I'm not used to talking. A lot of times I kind of sit on the desk and basically fall asleep. But I had these guys come in and start to work with this. So what we're seeing right now is we're seeing attacks, we're seeing people being injured, and we're seeing people who are being bitten, and now we see somebody that's being devoured. Okay, that puts a lot of 2 and 2 together there, doesn't it? I mean, is that something that we can, is that, so we're saying that how horrendous of a drug would you have to have that if you got hit by it, that it caused you to actually attack other people and eat them? But that, it's funny because, and maybe it's me, but have I seen, it's like I feel like I've seen reports of this in the past. Like this isn't the first time in existence that I've ever heard of such a thing. We've heard of basically like, yeah, so you've gotten 2 other incidents outside of time, or one was a guy that had was basically eating his inside, cut himself open and was eating his own insides or something like that. I know, guys, this show's getting gruesome right now, and I'm not really 100% comfortable with it or what we can actually broadcast to you guys, and a lot of people, this is the thing, we're going to be talking about some stuff here, and I'm kind of scared of what the train is that we're going to run into here. But I don't want anybody getting hysterical. I want everybody to relax. Remember that everything's being taken care of. There's a large amount of people, checking the time here, there's a large amount of people here that are taking care of stuff right now, that are cordoning off the area. Police officers, first responders, ambulance, police, fire, all these guys, they're out there right now taking care of stuff and making sure that everything is okay. And I understand that not that the emergency line things can be worrisome for you. Let's just make it clear that the emergency lines are down because everybody called in. They're going to be back. I don't know how long it's going to take, but they will be back, and you will be able to, if you're in a situation, to call them. Now, I am under the impression that they're all already out there now, and that it's been that what we were told was it was an all hands on deck thing, that everybody's in and everybody's taking their different things. State troopers were already involved before, but that the sheriff and other agencies have been out there, and they're cordoning off areas, and they're going from place to place. And again, some of the stuff that we're going over right now is purely hypothetical. We cannot say one way or the other, but And I don't know how much of our senior staff will not want me saying this, but I'm just putting two and two together and getting a very disturbing picture, to say the least. Yeah. So that's where we're at, and there's been a couple of broadcast drops today that have basically said that everybody needs to situate and stay in place. And we're being told that everybody, that we're, in general, that people are listening to that. So I'm in for the night, guys. You I don't know how you guys want. I got the coffee rolling here. I'm halfway through what I got. And it's going to be fun, no matter how much we're going to be involved in it, and we're staying with you guys out there. Remember, I'm not playing music tonight. We're sticking with you. We decided to do that very early on, to when it first started. You can tell when a situation, and I'm going to use the word serious. And again, that's not to say to worry about it. I mean, there's times that people have come on for all sorts of crazy stuff right now, and I think of some of the worst incidents that have happened in history. This isn't the worst. This is a blip in the radar, but sometimes those blips are serious enough to make sure that everybody out there knows what's going on and can pay attention to it. The goal is obviously to make sure everybody is safe, and if you guys are safe, then we feel better. And I think the big thing is getting that information out to you so that 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 what information is going on. But yeah, everybody right now, if you just tuned in, we're under a current shelter-in-place warning due to a bunch of attacks that happened in different areas of the city. And if you can, do not call into emergency services. Just stay here with us on your radio or on your dial or however you're going to do it, and we're going to stick with you to see what we'll do, just to keep you updated as what's going on. Yeah. Okay. So right now it's kind of been a typical, things are coming in, and yeah. Okay. No, I wanted to see the pictures of the, you guys had the restaurant attack that somebody from social media had sent some stuff in, and I think we got interrupted on that, didn't we? Didn't we see those? Okay, yeah, should put that up on here. Now, obviously, people on radio can't see it, but at least I can explain it, and let them see it, or let them hear about it. Tell it's going to be a long night, I can tell. Yeah. Yeah, just turn the screen around, show me. Or you can put it on the monitor. Yep. Okay. Ooh. Alright, so the picture I'm seeing right now is a guy who was sitting in front of a restaurant. It's kind of an open air restaurant, and there's these kind of gateway thing, and there's chairs in the way. So it appears that the gate is down. So something or somebody had knocked the gate down, and this guy was probably sitting at this table because he's between the the seat and the table itself. So they're showing his leg, and it looks like emergency services, like ambulance had just arrived, and there is a huge chunk taken out of his leg. Like, this is big. And originally, again, we had said this, that we thought that the original attacks were used with something like knives or baseball bats or something of that nature, and what we're hearing now is that the wounds that we're seeing are bite wounds. They're bite oriented. So whoever these guys are that are having this thing happen to them, they're biting people, is what I understand. I mean, we have never heard any other thing that said that it wasn't that, and we haven't heard anything to the contrary, but a lot of confirmations that that's what we've seen. Somebody tell me I'm wrong at that. So yeah, it's bite wounds. All of it's bite wounds. I mean, you can see it. It looks like teeth marks. So something jumped over that fence. That's the other thing, because I'm going to use the word jump, and that wasn't accurate from what we were told, and the word that I like, that slow moving, that the word that I liked was lumbering, that they were not moving at a high rate of speed, that they just basically lumbered from place to place. So that made sense to me. So yeah, we're sticking with lumber. And we haven't heard anything. Those were eyewitness reports. So I'm going to believe that those, even though we're not hearing those from an official source, that I'm going to say, I mean, we may have heard something from an official source and I'm just forgetting it, but from what I'm hearing, this is what I know and what I've pieced together. We have not heard any confirmation of what is doing this. That we can make summations that there is a drug condition or a medical condition or something of that along that nature. We did a little bit of research here and found some stuff about hysteria in the past that this could be associated with. Nothing concrete though. Nothing. There's no doctor here that has said this is concrete what it is and everything's going to be, this is what it is. It's going to be this. It's your, nothing like that. But we've made summations that in the past these have been drug things. If I'm hedging my bets on it, I'm thinking it's drug related or something. Somebody got into something they shouldn't have, and like I said before, these synthetic drug things they are what they are. I mean, it's just a matter of time before some of these that we've heard are insanely whatever that get with people. And I mean, to the idea that they get sick and they go out and they bite people, I mean, what's so shocking about that? You know what I mean? But what concerns me about that too is that with these drug houses or these drug areas, some of these houses, 20, 30 people that are all prone to this stuff. I mean, you get a drug fueled binge or something, you don't know what's going on. There could be stuff in the building and just, they go on with these hazmat suits and they do all this stuff, and it is what it is. So that's what we're left with. I mean, again, it's purely hypothetical. We're still waiting on information. Oh, and to confirm with everybody, for those staying in their areas, or staying sheltered right now, if your water's fine, the Board of Health has already said water's fine and food is fine. So that to me, like I said, that's where it was for me, kind of put it in a corner, saying we've stuck into one situation. So that's where I'm feeding it. So yeah, so it looks like we have all right, are they going to do a report or are they going to do an announcement? So this is the hospital. So it's the main hospital in the area right now has gotten some information in, and they're just sending over a report or something, or what is it? Is it in paper or is it? Okay. Well, whatever it is, when we get it, we'll put it up. Because he says it's serious. All right, and it needs to be. So what are we going to broadcast it the second we get it in? I'm all for it. All right. We're going to get that warning.
This is an emergency broadcast. There is currently a shelter in place warning throughout your area. Seek shelter immediately. Do not go outside for any reason. If you are traveling, find shelter immediately. This warning will continue until further notice. If you need assistance, contact emergency services. I repeat, this is an emergency broadcast. Seek shelter immediately.
All right, I think we're back. Good. Okay. So what we just heard was from Mercy Hospital that says that they have some information on a report that has come in from their various hospitals. These guys have about 5 to 6 hospitals, I think. So it's kind of like our hospital system is not one hospital. There's all these different hospitals, but this one hospital owns a bunch of hospitals. And I guess the doctors came in overnight here and they got some information and they want to put it in the mix with everybody and see how that works. Okay. So we're gonna read that right now. Okay. Yeah, it's coming in as a paper report. Okay. So all right, so it's kind of, I'm waiting, just waiting for it. That's what I'm waiting. Everybody's out there waiting for this thing. Okay, so here it is. Oh, wow. Okay, so this report just said that and I'm getting this right, I'm just going to make sure everybody read this exactly way. This is not a joke. Can we confirm this or something before I put it on air? Because this sounds really insane. Like, I have never in the history of my broadcasting career ever heard anything like this before in my life. This isn't, yeah, this does not even sound right or logical or logistical or any of that stuff. Like, I'm just really like heavy breathing here, man. I want to, before we say this to everybody, I want to get somebody on the horn if we can to talk about it. I don't care if it's on letterhead. I want to know what we're about to hand out to the public is accurate, and it's not coming from some city official. It's coming from some place. So okay, so look, I'm gonna pitch it like this, and you guys tell me, like, I'm gonna let them decide then. So we're gonna put it out there what we received from Mercy Hospital's official hospital, biggest hospital in the area right now, or at least chain of them, and the wording that we were given from them. And again, I cannot confirm what I'm given right now, and I seriously would tell people to take it with a grain of salt. That they're saying now that the bodies of the recently deceased are somehow being reanimated and attacking those they come in contact with. So I'm gonna repeat that again. I'm not standing on this. I don't believe this. I don't know. I just think that's the most insane thing I've ever read in the history of my career, which is not, it's been quite a few years here, Don. I'm telling you, this is not my first rodeo here, but the bodies of the recently deceased are being reanimated and attacking people. That's what we just put on the air for the first time in the history of my broadcast. And I'm just going to say I don't believe any of that. I think this is a scam report. I think it's just somebody over there is playing a cruel joke at 12:18 in the morning and thinks that that's funny. And it's not funny at all. It's stupid. It's insane. You're going to tell me that that's what why don't we just go in here and say it's spaceships or something? That's more believable, right? I mean, if I came over here and told you that, you'd think I was out of my freaking mind. And you'd be rightly so to think it. So I don't know how they came to this. Like I said, I'm going to wait for an official announcement from somebody, but that's not going to be there. We are giving everybody the report. Again, I don't want anybody out there being hysterical. I don't want anybody taking any sort of actions. I do, if there is a situation out there where people have gotten into something and gotten sick, I get the idea of some sort of virus or disease or bacteria or whatever you want to think about that you get into some people's water or whatever. And I shouldn't have said water because that was cleared. So you guys are good to drink the water. But the idea of something getting somewhere where there somehow people are getting in contact with it, maybe that, you know what, some of these moldy houses or something. You live in this moldy old house, or that sounds like something a homeless person would do, right? So you're living in a moldy old house or something, and getting something in your system that a disease or something. Who knows if it's some kind of binary or synthetic or things are combining together, and That's causing the issue, and that's what the results are. But I cannot, with good conscience, tell people that dead people are getting up and walking around and attacking people. Can't do it. Doesn't make any sense to me. And yeah, I just, why don't we just go get some voodoo guys to come in and do the thing for us? You know what I mean? Why don't we have those guys as special guests? It's stupid, Don. It's stupid. But we just reported it because that's exactly what Mercy Hospital just reported. All we know right now is a bunch of people got attacked and some people got hurt. And yes, people are getting bitten, and yeah. So, and I'm not gonna say it's it is far-fetched. What I'm saying is people are putting 2 and 2 together here, and it's not 4. It's Apple, and I'm not buying it. And I know there's a couple of dudes here that are sitting in the city and saying the same thing. So we're gonna get reports back, and we're gonna know what's up. So. And like you said, I'd like to get some eyewitness stuff out there, but what we're hearing from people is that they're continuing, the police right now are continuing to sweep the area. 911 is currently down. The police are out there, they're sweeping the areas, they're cordoning off zones where they're doing investigations, but they're doing quick investigations so they can follow up on every report that was come down tonight, and everything's well in hand. That's what I'm being told, and I'm going to stick with that. So yeah. So that's what came through with Mercy Hospital, and I'm gonna put that in the back shelter and pretend I didn't read it on the air. Hopefully that doesn't come back to haunt me later. As I can see him doing it too. I'm saying, you guys got that information, you reported? Yeah, we reported. Exactly what I was told to do, and I did it. So I'm going to work with the facts out here right now, and from what I have, here's where I'm going to do so, because they were saying that there are no drugs involved, right? That there are people out there that are having some sort of reaction that is causing them to attack other people, and what we have been deduced as probably, grabbing, biting, that kind of thing, attacks on other people. And that those people there have been multiple people out there who have been injured, and we're in a shelter in place, and that's where we've been now for close to, I'd say, an hour and a half, or an hour and 20 minutes or so. And if you're out there right now, you need to be aware of the situation that we're in, and I think don't worry about all that other stuff, no matter how hyperbolic it is. The point right now is to stay sheltered in place, get out of the way of any sort of first responders or anybody, police, any of that kind of thing. It doesn't matter if the information we're getting from some of these situations is right or wrong. The truth is there are people out there, and we've seen video and pictures of these right now that show people that, and we've had a lot more come in while I've been talking here, about people who have been injured, attacked, and from what we're seeing, many of the attacks are bite oriented. So one was on one of the subway attendants was attacked. He was bitten on the arm. A lot of people are taking this stuff and posting it up and trying to draw attention to it and get the information out there. So people who the biggest concern that we have right now is there are people who, obviously we're talking about being at midnight. There's a lot of people that go to bed at that hour, and they're going to wake up tomorrow and be in kind of the middle of this. I don't think that any of these, they're going to do the cordoning off process, going through areas, and then they're going to come back through, and whether they've gotten all the people that were potentially hazardous or otherwise. And the police have continued to say over and over again that they have a certain amount of people that they're going to be going after that have attacked people. They obviously are not going to have names, and there are various people that a lot of people have been injured today, but that we're not talking about hundreds of thousands of people having some sort of drug interaction. We're probably talking about 20 to 30 people at most that have attacked other people, and there has been reports of shootouts with the police, and basically that people have been hurt, police officers have been hurt, and that was an all hands on deck thing that they came in and said they were going to take action and look into the situation and make sure that everything was good. So yeah. So we're gonna get. We had the chief, was the chief of police or the sheriff, come on earlier tonight and tell us exactly what they heard so far. That there were various attacks. They continue to research it, and that they're going to get us information as soon as they can. Where that information is or how it's going to get to us, we don't know. We're just going to wait. And again, the situation's an active situation. It's going to evolve overnight, and we're going to be with you right now to confirm it. So, okay, so we just got another thing back from, or is this from emergency? So civil defense and the Board of Health, as well as CDC, that says that okay, so yeah, there's a bunch of other people. So this first broadcast, we got a very weird broadcast earlier today that said that there are basically dead people coming back to life and attacking people. Now we're getting information from civil defense and multiple areas here that are coming in, CDC, that have said that idea is preposterous, that there's no such thing, that at most that these are drug interactions. And that's exactly what we've been saying all night. I see, if we'd put money on it, Don would be out of $20 right there, and I should have done it, because now they're saying it's not. It's impossible. So, I mean, are they going to have an argue fest about it? That's what I doubt it. Yeah. So it's a bunch of people that literally, homeless dudes, shelter dudes, whatever, probably drug house of some nature, that they got into something synthetic and good things did not happen. Let's put it like that. So they got into the stuff and it hurt some people, and now we have this situation. And what that results in is anybody's guess. I mean, I'm sure that if they continue their current rate of whatever, that we'll see, I mean, acts of legislation for sure. I doubt it'll be as crazy as the Reagan era, when they were all the, do not do drug stuff and really busting down on people. But that was a different time, really. I mean, I know a lot of the stuff today is very much more serious than it was back then. But I mean, the stuff that we have today is more, I'm going to say this like this, it's more serious. Is that a word? I don't know. But anyway, so we have much more serious things right now. It's the potential of dying from drugs, but it's a little bit more minimalistic than it was so widespread in the 80s. And that was I'm going to say a drug-fueled time. But, I mean, I really thought that the worst drug you could get was alcohol. Worst thing you got with cocaine or any of that stuff was an ego. And I mean, if you knew what you were looking for, you knew what kind of person, was using it, because that ego was huge. And that's what it did. It made you impenetrable. It's where the old business guys back in the day used to take it. And they would be like, hey, going into, everybody see Die Hard, remember that one? I'm going to do these deals, and I'm going to make some money for the company or whatever. So he takes some blow, and then he goes into the office thing, and he's like, yeah, it's $1 million deal or whatever. It's all BS. It's all TV. It's flash, But even though back then it was so widespread, it was basically acceptable back then. Today's stuff is just so serious and so devastating that it puts the people in a situation like this. And now this is the result of whatever. And whether that's, I'm wondering, and the thing that most concerns me is probably the idea of, like, I don't think it was something where one person took it. I want to say it was something that was like an aerosol spray or squirt or something like that, and it got into the air, and I think it probably affected everybody there. And that's where I kind of tell people, you need to be aware of that, because we don't know, especially if people coming to you that are sick. And this is why I said, if you're going to quarantine, stay in your quarantine. Don't like, if you're going to shelter in place, shelter in place. You know, don't I use the word quarantine because you don't want to get in contact with somebody who is infected. If it's something you can breathe in, we don't know that stuff, and we've heard nothing of that. I mean, it doesn't appear so, but I would personally not take that risk at all. I'd just say, you know, it's best left whatever. So yeah. So now, okay, so Mercy has come back and doubled down on their thing. All right, well, if they're gonna do a broadcast, we'll play whatever they. At this point, I mean, we've already done it once. I'll do it again. I mean, they're talking this time. It's not me. It sounds a lot more. Yeah. All right, cool. Get it up.
This is Dr. Ingalls of Mercy Hospital, and I have an important message for those who will listen. Currently, we have been getting people into the hospital with grave injuries. These individuals, when they pass, are being reanimated. They're coming back to life in some way or form. These individuals, when they return to life, seek to feed the most basic instinct of human nature, but they feed on other living tissue, other living people. It is important at this time that if you know someone who is injured or hurt, that you take necessary steps to contain them. Most advantageously would be to burn the bodies or sever the head. I know that this sounds gruesome. It is imperative that these individuals be stopped before they make a transformation into this new existence. They are no longer living, they are dead, and they are coming back, and they seek to devour those of us who remain. Again, you must do damage to the brain or burn the bodies. And burn the bodies would be the best option available. There is no exception here. You must take this action no matter how painful. Thank you for your attention in this, and we hope to get some more information out soon to find out exactly what is causing this problem. Thank you.
All right. So that was Mercy Hospital doubling down on their position. I just think that it's something that, again, we've played the thing from Mercy, we've played the other stuff. We've heard from CDC, civil defense, and other scientific individuals they were well aware of that situation once it started, I guess, and a lot of counter to that position that people were, that was happening like that. But I don't, the idea that it could happen is, I'm not going to rule it out or say that it couldn't ever, like it wasn't. I just think it's very far-fetched. It seems very, and I'm going to use the word mystical to me. It sounds like, and I think I made the thing about it, it's something that, it was in a show a long time ago, was monsters from space or something like that, where it was aliens come down and, infect the world with something and, make people into slaves or something. And I haven't seen any spaceships tonight, so I don't think that's it. But, I've heard worse stories. But that's the thing is they're giving us a little bit of information, but they're not. And I just think that what we're getting for information from what we consider as a reputable group at, 12:30 at night now, I maybe their signal got hijacked or something. So Okay, so we have an incident now at Mercy Hospital. Wow. Okay. What is that? What is going on there? Okay, so it was state troopers locked down the area of the first floor, which is where the triage area is. And so in the emergency area of the hospital has been locked down at Mercy Hospital. So if you were reporting to any sort of, they're saying now, do not report to hospitals. What is going on, guys? So now we have an official report. This is real from actual this is first responders to do not respond to any sort of hospital for any sort of treatment, and that to basically, if you have any problems, to just stay in place. Is that what I'm getting here? Don't leave your home, don't go anywhere, and definitely don't go to the hospital. So Mercy has been completely locked down right now. So multiple reports. Okay, so we were seeing something on social media here too. Multiple reports of shootings at Mercy Hospital. So they're saying the cops did the shooting. So cops opened fire on the first floor in the triage area of Mercy Hospital and shot somebody down. So I'm guessing that person was attacking somebody, or there was, I mean, I don't think they would shoot them for nothing, but that the police engaged a possible attacker in the triage area, at which point he was dispatched after I'm guessing injuring a nurse or somebody like that. Okay, that sounds right. Okay. Still waiting on some more information about that. So now, it's not just a shelter in place right now. It is a shelter in place. Currently 911 phone lines are down, and do not report to any hospital. No hospitals. None of them. So do not respond to a hospital at all. Stay where you are. Wait for emergency services to come to you. So this all started earlier today, probably been about an hour and something, hour and 15, hour and 30 minutes ago, something like that, that we received a report from the police that was basically a shelter-in-place warning because of multiple attacks. At the time, we were being told that they were lumbering individuals, people who did not respond to commands. That's what it was. So people who didn't respond to commands and were possibly showing signs of injury or otherwise, and just a straight lockdown order was given, and we saw a couple of emergency broadcast systems associated with that. That was our first warning of what was going to happen, or what was going on. And now it has advanced to something a little bit crazier. I am under the impression, and again, a lot of this stuff is speculation, but we've been told by, I believe, Board of Health was the one that said that was a possible drug interaction or drug issue that may have happened, and possibly we were extenuating something like a homeless shelter or possible drug den, something along those lines, that some sort of drug interaction caused the problem, at which point we got a broadcast from Mercy that said that Mercy believed that the situation was a little bit more, I use the word mystical, but a little bit more of a far-fetched situation, where Mercy Hospital had said that basically the dead was coming back to life. I'm just going to say that really quick and just gloss over it, if you will. And right after that, not even 10 minutes ago, we receive a report that the lockdown or shelter in place has now been extended to hospitals, and people are, after a supposed shooting in Mercy where a nurse was bitten. Okay, so we're just kind of getting a lot of this stuff, we're getting from different sources at the same time. We can't 100% say which one of these are. Some of them have pictures, some of them don't. Not many. Some of them are official. Like they said there was an attack at the hospital. They said it was official that there was a lockdown. Do not report to hospitals. Don't call 911 because it already shut down. Basically, the line was shut down from the amount of traffic that went into it. At which point, so we're saying that the police, hospital services have been shut down. That was a guarantee. So the hospitals were shut down, and the people were told not to show up to them because the hospitals have been locked down after an attack inside of them. And suddenly, right after, it wasn't just one hospital, it was all hospitals, even though we didn't hear of any other attack other than the first one. That's what we got. So people out there that are just coming on, I hope really that, if you're getting into this again, don't be hysterical. Don't react to this. A lot of this stuff is not confirmed information. It's not stuff that we know for 100%. All we know is what we have here, and a lot of that's going to be, we have gone through a lot of speculation and a lot of other things, but I think the most of it is partially to stick with you during this situation, to keep people from freaking out, even though some of the stuff we said does not feel very non-freakish, if you will. But that's the thing is if you're in a shelter right now, if whatever's happening, you're as far as we know, you're effectively safe. So I can't obviously confirm that because I don't know where you are. So if you're in a basement somewhere outside or in a campsite, you want to get someplace that's safer. But if you are in a house and you have locked doors that you have been by them considered safe, you can drink your water, you can eat your food. You're not going to run into anything that's going to effectively hurt you from what we heard from Board of Health. And you're going to be fine. They're just going through right now and cleaning out the area. And I'm sure that's the reality here, is that a lot of this stuff when it comes to hospitals, and I'm going to say people are very reactionary, especially in government. Let's be honest. These guys, they get very jumpy and they start calling, especially with sicknesses, medicine, all that stuff. It's a lot of close off the doors and make sure everything's okay, and we don't want anybody sick or anything. And I think it's a lot of the insurance companies that kind of tell them, close up shop kind of thing. But that's where we are right now. And again, don't freak out. They've zoned off some areas. They probably have 20 or 30 people at most. Some of these guys are probably still out there, and probably the guy that attacked in the hospital is the same way. And what they did was they made a knee-jerk reaction to say, hey, it happened at one hospital, we just want to make sure that nobody's reporting to another hospital, and there's somebody that's sick and they don't know they're sick, they show up, and now you have a bigger problem because they've hurt somebody in a hospital. And the truth is we don't want, especially I can see there are certain people, I know this may seem a little heartless, but there are some people out there that put themselves in harm's way, and people with guns do people with gun stuff. It is what it is. But that if you're a first responder and you're an ambulance operator, you're a firefighter that's showing up to help somebody that's injured, the truth is we don't want those people hurt. That's just how it works. So there's the thing. Don't read too much into it. Other than that, is we don't want these people injured, and taking some extra steps did that. And with the amount of people that called in and broke the emergency lines, that put us in quite the situation. So some of this stuff may look bad, but it cannot be as bad as it is you're thinking it is. Just the reality. Think about that in the history of time, all the stuff that's happened, and some of the stuff has been very crazy, very scary stuff. That what's the worst thing that can happen, kind of thing. I mean, there are bad things that can happen, but I don't think it's bad enough to say that some of the stuff that's been reported tonight has been a little bit. I'm afraid that we're going to wake up tomorrow, we're going to read some of this stuff back, and people are going to say that it was bad reporting. But we are giving you the information that we're given, and again, we have other organizations that have countered some of the stuff that we've reported, and I'm going to take it like that. It's what we have to do. Again, there's a lot of stuff that we still need to confirm, and as the night goes on, I'm sure it's still going to happen, and we're going to get more and more information. It's just going to keep coming in. We're going to let you know. And you know what, Don, I'm going to say it. I think it all blows over by morning. I think by the time we get all the stuff done and everything works, that it's all going to be okay, and everybody's going to be fine. And did the lights just flicker? Okay. Don't tell me you have a power outage too. I'm going to lose it. If somebody has some sort of... So there's been some accidents okay, so it's car accidents, okay. They hit some... Okay, so, I mean, in the situation, I could see that they would be that. So, okay, so we're going to go... We are actually going to hit a break. This is crazy. All right, so in the middle of all this insanity, we've given out a lot of information to everybody right now. So what we're a little bit concerned of right now is that with emergency power, that there's been a couple of accidents out there. Some of the stuff that we haven't reported because we've been kind of focused on something else, but there's been other accidents that are potential that we're going to lose power very soon. Yeah, so hey, lucky enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up the generators real quick, go to a break, listen to some music, and then by the time we come back, hopefully we'll be back in time to go over a little bit more for you. You guys, we'll be back soon. We'll talk to you then.